up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about relays. Now there's many different types of relays. These are two good examples that I found laying around the shop. This one's a 5-pin, this one's a 4-pin. They both have the same function. But what is a relay? How do they work? And how can you use them in your projects? They all have a metal core, followed by a winding of copper, which is made into a coil. At the end of the windings, there's two pins. These two pins usually are supplied some kind of DC supply voltage. The other two pins are basically switching contacts, right? They could be normally open or normally closed, depends on the make of the relay. Once the relay is energized and the coil winding is energized, a magnetic field is created, pulling the contact points to each other, allowing the flow of current. Usually the higher voltage current flows through those two pins, the two contact points that power your circuit or power your load, really. You can imagine once the coil is energized, pins 85 and 86, the two contact points 30 and 87 are drawn together through the magnetic field. Now relays are used a lot. There's many different styles of relays, different types of relays that are used, but these are for automotive use, right? These are the most two common that I see in automobiles these days. Since relays are mechanical, they tend to fail, right? And when that happens, you can have all kinds of weird problems, circuits not working correctly. So I'm going to show you how you can test the relay. And what you want to do is check for continuity. For example, you want to check pin 85 and 86, test the coil. Make sure the coil is not open, because over time, I guess maybe the coil can, the wiring inside the coil can burn up and cause an open circuit. Relays are mechanical devices, right? There's moving contacts, and sometimes those relays give out. They stop working. Then you have all kinds of electrical issues going on, circuits not working correctly. So I'm going to show you how you can test your relay for continuity. This is my voltmeter. I've had this thing for many years. It's never let me down. So basically what you want to do is set your meter to ohms, which is, most voltmeters have an ohm setting to check resistance. But you want to check the resistance of your relay, right? So you want to test the resistance of your coil to start with. Make sure pin 85 and 86 have continuity. Now if this says OL after touching pins 85 and 86, that winding is open. So let's test this relay. To start with, you're going to want to test your leads. Make sure you have some kind of continuity. There we go. All right, so pin 85 and 86 are going to be these two pins, right? So it's hanging around 100 ohms of resistance, which is good. We want to have some sort of resistance. Usually 100 ohms is around where you want to be on this type of relay. Next, you want to test your switches, right? Pin 30 and 87. Now, if this was shorted, you'd have continuity between the switches. Right now it's showing OL, which is what you want, unless it's energized. This was energized. Now, if you didn't have a voltmeter and you wanted to test your relay, you can go to Amazon and they have these relay testers. I bought this a couple years back. It fits different styles of relays that you can test. It has a 4-pin and 5-pin setting. You simply hit test and it pulses the relay on and off to make sure that you have switching contacts and a good relay. So I'm going to connect this to a battery that I have laying over here on this bench. All right. This This is a 4-pin, so we're going to switch it to 4 pins. Hit test. Alright, that's a good relay. You can hear the contacts energizing and de-energizing, opening and closing. Now, if you didn't have a voltmeter or that relay tester, and you had 2 wires that you could run from the battery, a power supply to your relay, you could theoretically energize pin 85 and 86, and you should hear a contact click, right? So I have these jumper wires that I made a while back. This has a built-in inline fuse to protect the circuit that I would be testing. But same thing, you just connect it to the battery, positive and positive, negative to each pin 85 and 86, and you should hear a click. Same thing with this relay, right? It's a 5-pin. We switch it to 5 pins. Plug that one in. Hit test. You can hear the relay clicking on and off. Let's say you want to wire up your own relay, right? I just drew this simple circuit to illustrate how you could use this relay for your circuit, right? Let's say you're going to power up some headlights or fog lights. You'd have pin number 30 with battery voltage. That would be current voltage at all times. 87 would be your load, which in this case is your lights, connected to the body ground somewhere. Pin 85 would be ground full time, and 86 would be your control side. So your switch would turn on or off, pulling in 30 and 87 together, causing the circuit to flow. You'd have your light illuminated, and that's basically how you'd have that wired up. Let's say you wanted to use this type of relay, a 5-pin relay. It'd be pretty much the same thing, minus the fact that there would be another pin 87A accessory. So what you'd have is, battery voltage at pin 30 full time. 86 would be your body ground. This relay is good for that purpose due to the fact that if you wanted to wire some kind of lighting, for example, if you wanted to make sure the circuit was off or on, you could wire a light to accessory A, and once you energize your pin 85, which is your accessory, that light would turn off, telling you the circuit's on, your headlights would be on. It's basically a accessory additional pin you could use for that application. But it still works the same way. You're energizing 85 and 86, pulling the contacts close to energize 87, which is your accessory, which would be your lights. I hope this was helpful information for you to how relays work, their application, how you can wire your own up. If this was any of use to you, considering liking and subscribing. I'm going to try to make more videos